Hello and welcome to India Today. I'm Sneha Mordani. You're watching our special broadcast on COVID-19, and today we focus on the questions everyone is asking now in the context of cases of Omicron increasing globally and also in India. Now, close to 80 countries have reported cases of Omicron, and India as well is unspared. Everyone is asking, where are my boosters? Where are the booster shots or the additional dose of the vaccine for the additional protection that is much required right now? Also, concerned parents are asking, where are the vaccines for children? Over 17 crore vaccine doses are lying unutilized by states. You heard that right. Unutilized vaccines lying just right there, and it might just get expired. There are people waiting to get a third shot. Immunocompromised population, healthcare workers at risk of an infection. Given that the fifth variant of concern has entered India, left our country unspared, the third dose is not in sight. Also on the show, we get you all the details about why there is so much lethargy when it comes to rolling out vaccines for children. First, take a look at this report. Over 80 countries and counting. Omicron variant, the fifth variant of concern, has become a super spreader. And in the light of the new threat, countries are doing what they can with the little information they have, boosting against Omicron. But not in India. There is inertia when it comes to rolling out the third dose. But the government insists it has its priorities right. Boosters can wait for the time being, is that what you're saying? Or are you saying that boosters for the immunocompromised can wait? The priority should be the second dose in India?
Correct. Yes, that's true. And for the boost, the more you protect a larger group of the population, the less there will be transmission. That's the idea of vaccinating as many, rather than take it further to a smaller group. That's the idea. And we have to know more about the disease and the vaccine and with this variant before you can actually do some recommendations around boosters.
India is deliberating on the need to administer boosters. The government on Tuesday told the Delhi High Court that expert panels are discussing this. But experts say the delay is unjustified.
We have to fully vaccinate people. And if we have enough vaccine stock, then introducing boosters is a good idea.
Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has also said that boosters at this point in time, without vaccinating the entire population, is a risk and tantamounts to hoarding.
WHO is concerned that such programs will repeat the vaccine hoarding we saw this year and exacerbate inequity. It's clear that as we move forward, boosters could play an important role, especially for those at highest risk of severe disease and death.
The government of India started its vaccination drive against COVID-19 more than 10 months ago on the 16th of January. Ever since, close to 90% of the population has got the first dose. More than 55% of the population has got the second dose. There is no shortage of vaccines unlike a few months ago. And this has what got the experts to question on the inertia of the government when it comes to both giving out the booster doses and also drafting a policy on vaccines for children. So where is the vaccine for kids?
The children carry the same viral load as adults, exactly the same viral load as adults. They are as infectious as adults and they can transmit as well as adults. Therefore, children need vaccination. It's been approved by American Pediatric Association. It's been approved by FDA. It's been approved by CDC. It's been approved by every European regulatory authority for children.
Okay.
India must have pediatric vaccination ASAP.
India has approved Zydus Cadila Zycov-D for kids above the age of 12, but the rollout is yet to happen. The vaccine will be given to adults by December, says the government, but is non-committal on when kids will get this jab. Another homemade vaccine, Covaxin, has got the recommendation for a rollout, but a formal nod from the regulator is still awaited. No other country in the world is administering the COVID-19 vaccine to children as young as 2, and this is something that is weighing in on, say, government sources. The government has also suggested that there is a possibility that existing vaccines may not work in neutralizing the Omicron variant.
There is a potential scenario that our vaccines may become ineffective in emerging situations. We have to be sure about having vaccine platforms that are adaptable quickly. How soon can we create a vaccine which is using the same platform but is now targeted to the variant of the day?
A dozen questions around Omicron remain unanswered. But should India not make efforts to protect its population against an unknown enemy is the question many are asking. In New Delhi, Sneha Mordani for India Today. And joining us on the show today to talk about two things: boosters and vaccines for children. Dr. Shahid Jamil is a well-known virologist, visiting fellow, Ashoka University, also fellow, Osis and Green, Templeton College, University of Oxford in the UK. Thank you so much for your time. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai is the chairman of the Nephron Clinic, and he's also a Padma Shri awardee. Atul Tripathi is a parent. He has a child who lost his wife to COVID-19. Dr. Nandita Iyer is a parent also. Simone Khambata, also a parent of a young child. Thank you so much all for your time here. I'm going to begin by asking Dr. Shahid Jamil, why is there so much inertia in India when at a time there is so much glamour? Our vaccination pace has picked up. Over 55% of people have got the second dose of the vaccine. The first dose coverage has improved as well. There is no shortage. But there seems to be a bit of an inertia when it comes to a policy decision.
Boosters are on top of 2 doses. So let's get the 2-dose number high before we start rolling out boosters. But that does not mean that we don't make a policy for boosters. Between policy and rollout, there will be a time lag. Make a policy, be very clear about how you want to do it, what vaccines you will use, what will be the priority populations, all of that. So policy needs to be made now. Boosters, rollout can wait till we achieve higher percentage of 2 doses.
Yes.
Look at other countries. If you look at UK, where I'm currently based, UK has given 70% of its population, I'm not talking adults, population, 2 doses of vaccine. On top of that, they are giving booster doses. India has to achieve a high number with 2 doses. And there's no reason why vaccination cannot be speeded up. So we have the capacity with vaccines, we have the capacity to vaccinate. So let's get on with it.
In anticipation of increase in cases, which experts have suggested will happen in India as well, given that Omicron cases will increase in India like it has in many other countries. In this context, is it important to even further, expedite the decision-making process on giving out boosters or having a policy ready in this context?
Absolutely. Policy has to be expedited. You need to make a policy. But even before that, how do you give the second dose quickly to people who have received only 1 dose? And I believe one way is to reduce the difference between 2 doses of Covishield from the current 12 to 16 weeks to 8 to 12 weeks. Let's bring it down to 12 weeks from 16 weeks. We are in a situation where there is a more transmissible variant that's going to spread in India. I mean, India is not exclusive. India is just like the rest of the world.
Dr. Jamil, I want to ask you, what is it that you are anticipating as a virologist in terms of when cases can increase in India? Are you looking at a period between the middle of January towards the end of January, or even before that, when it comes to a possible increase in surge? And how is it going to be like if you just do a comparison with what Delta did to us this summer?
Friends who are modelers say that it's likely to go up by after the 15th of January, possibly towards the end of January. India will have lots of infections. I might also say it's infections and and not serious disease. But if you look at UK, for example, where the rate of vaccination has been really high, just the other day, the British Prime Minister announced, based on modeling studies from the London School of Hygiene, to say that by the end of April, this country is looking at somewhere around 25,000 to 75,000 deaths. This is deaths.
Yes.
In a country which is so heavily vaccinated, and more than a third of its population has received boosters. So I don't know whether that modeling prediction would hold or not, but if it does, then you are looking at a very large number of infections to translate into that many deaths. And as I keep saying, India is not exclusive. India will face it like the rest of the world. So it's best to make policy and be prepared.
Yes, the WHO has just in fact come out and said that it'll be a mistake to think that this is going to be a mild infection. We just do not know yet. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, you have been talking about the need to roll out the vaccines for children. September is when we saw the approval of Zycov-D. And Covaxin, of course, awaits the nod from the regulator, essentially. But the rollout the rollout of vaccines for children has not happened yet. Is that frustrating? Why do you think it's important to have these vaccines rolled out for children?
Thank you, Sneha, for having me. I'll make just a couple of very quick points, which are purely on published scientific literature. Just to add what the Honorable Doctor my previous panelist has just mentioned. We talk very much of the booster jabs based on the neutralizing antibodies. I want to mention here, in worldwide published studies, 43% to 47% of people respond with the antibodies at a slow, late, or delayed speed. The speed of trajectory at the onset of infection of the immunoglobulins, what we call as antibodies, is critical to contain severe infection. So when we know that this COVID infection is causing almost half the people to have a delayed or a late response, that bluntens your protection with regards to COVID. Point number two, the breadth, what we call as the phenotyping, energy kinetic phenotyping of antibodies is very much different with now the onset of Omicron. This has what we call as super antigens in the ORF receptors, which are the end part of your spike protein. And just today, Sneha, 2 hours back, University of Hong Kong has published a brilliant paper in which it has said that the replication, that means the ability to transmit the infection, is 70 times more in the upper bronchus rather than lungs as compared to Delta. That means it is causing more transmissibility, may not be as lethal chest infection as Delta.
That is something that the WHO has also said. But, Dr. Bagai, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have to, in fact, bring in the parents here also who are talking about why they want now vaccines to be rolled out for children. We'll also try to get their point of view. But a quick point first, Dr. Bagai, on why vaccines should be rolled out for children. You have spoken about it earlier as well, about the viral load in children being as much as it is in adults, and the other factors that makes this mandatory as well.
Yeah, so just bullet points, why children require vaccination. Please. Yeah, so the children require vaccination not to allow an upsurge of infections or mortality or morbidity to happen. Vaccines are always a preventive modality. Now, when you talk in terms of children, they carry, I've said this earlier, they carry the same viral load as adults. Almost 49.5% of children have asymptomatic or polysymptomatic carrier state. And these children have the same kind of long COVID effects, including in the brain and the heart, about 6 months to 12 months later. There is also studies which have shown unvaccinated children in an otherwise vaccinated household, if there are one child who's unvaccinated in a house, 42% increased risk. 2, 3, 4, it goes up to 78%.
So you mentioned you're talking about household transmission, and I just want to quickly bring in that point. When it comes to Omicron, the WHO has said this, that household transmission when it comes to Omicron has been much higher than in the case of Delta, for example. This is something that the WHO has said inclusively. Atul Tripathi, your reaction to what is going on in terms of the delay, essentially, in rolling out vaccines for children. What do you want from the government?
Vaccination for children is important. We need to take care of them immediately. If you're planning to open the schools, that is going to be vital part. because we've already had a lot of casualties, as we have seen in the month of April. Now, as a single parent who has lost a lot of life, the trauma that we've already gone through as a family is going to be more severe if any one of us is infected. We have to be very careful. Now, schools are there. We've already had 2 years of lag from those parents and the children's side, and that has to be taken care of immediately.
Dr. Nandita Iyer, do you believe in what Atul Tripathi is saying? Because the government says, do not wait for vaccines for schools to open.
Yeah, it's indeed unfortunate because, the adults are able to work from home, but the schools were opened, especially in Bangalore, a couple of months ago. And then we had to shut again because, of a number of cases that were detected in the school. So one is the ability to return to school in a more secure manner. So as parents, we also feel secure to send our children outside. And the second thing is that the prolonged impact of kids being at home, unable to go out and play. I'm sure this is the last thing on everyone's mind, but it's also something to consider that it's going to be nearly 2 years that the kids have been at home throughout, and not being concerned about this issue where the vaccines for adults have been available since Jan of 2021, and it's almost going to be a year, and there's nothing for kids yet, despite the emergency use authorization that came in August.
Yes.
But it's December now, and we have no further news, no phase 3 trial data, and really the parents are left clueless in this matter, and they're very disappointed too.
Parents are left clueless. In fact, the policy, what is the policy is the question everyone is asking. Simon Kambata, the government, sends out these regular messages that perhaps immunocompromised children will be getting the vaccine first, but we haven't seen any action on that front.
I, for one, I'm completely pushing and hoping that the government opens schools. I do understand the risk that my child may face while going to school, but I do know that that risk when my child is going to a private school is far lesser than if I'm taking my child to a restaurant. I am ready to send my children to school without vaccinations at this point. The world started schools for kids without the adults being vaccinated. Here, my entire household, my entire school, I think SOPs need to be left to parents and schools. Everyone who wants to opt for offline should, and every parent who has the opportunity or wants to send their child to school physically should have the opportunity. And I really think it's time that parents are left to make those decisions for their children. And it cannot be generalized like this, because our kids cannot be sitting at home aimlessly, endlessly. We don't know when the vaccine is coming. We don't know anything. We're doing our part. But we watch, everything is open. Kids are everywhere.
Yes.
Malls, theaters, play areas don't even have proper SOPs. There's no one supervising how much sanitizing is happening there, how many people are really wearing masks, and the play areas are full. Birthday parties, I have like 100 people and 100 children with nannies and parents, but my kids can't go to school. Why?
Dr. Shahid Jamil, a lot of conversation and opinion is split. Some parents here also say that it's okay, to open schools. We don't really need to vaccinate children right now. But what's your thought, given that so many countries, and we just listed that out for our viewers, are vaccinating children against the variant?
Look, public health is a matter of data and evidence. Public health should not be a matter of emotion. The parent who spoke just before me, I think she said some very wise things. As parents, we don't bat an eye taking our kids to movie theaters, malls, birthday parties. But when it comes to school, we want them to be vaccinated first. And that's a problem. Look, what is the evidence here? The evidence is that for more than a year, kids were sitting at home, almost 2 years, kids were sitting at home. Did they not get infected at home? Of course they got infected. The 4th ICMR Sero survey shows that almost as much seropositivity in children as much as in adults.
Yes.
So they were not going to school at that time and got infected. They got infected in households. So, but the disease is very mild in children, if at all.
Preliminary data from South Africa seems to be suggesting that there is a possibility that more children are getting hospitalized owing to Omicron, but they're recovering quickly also. They're coming back from the hospitals, sooner. So it's not like they're not going to hospitals.
A lot of it's a lot of anecdotal data.
Okay.
Start looking at percentages. I'm sorry, I don't want to put kids as percentages, but when you look at populations, you are bound to do that. If there's enough vaccines have been tested on children. No one can tell me one single vaccine which is safe in adults but not safe in children. So I'm all for vaccinating children.
Yes. So if you look at the data which has evolved in the last 24 months, the initial percentage of children, which is CDC data, was about 9%. Now it is 22%. And post-Delta, it is 25% of all infections globally are in the pediatric age group. Point number two, again, global data shows that 68% of children who've actually had or have had infection or exposed to it were actually not tested, primarily because children have a host of other respiratory, viral and bacterial infections, amongst other common fevers, indeed common seasonal fevers, in which COVID very often has not been tested worldwide. My take is that the children, as a preventive measure, always it is better to get it vaccinated. Although most of the international data is based on the mRNA vaccines, but there are trials which have now been submitted for review in India, and I think we should start it as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Even children have comorbid features. Children have to go back to school. The school will be a safer environment if the children are vaccinated. And not to forget, we need a national ventilation policy. We don't talk of ventilation, but that's the key.
Thank you all for your perspective and your time here on the show. We'll continue to have these conversations on COVID-19, Omicron, boosters and vaccines. These are questions the country is asking today. Where is the preparedness when it comes to protecting the population against Omicron, which to a great extent right now is an unknown enemy? Thank you so much for joining us. News continues on the other side.